Hello everyone. In this video, we will do the daily current affairs analysis of for 12th November 2021. So, the first topic which we will discuss is issue of custodial deaths and police reforms. So, it is from GS paper 2 and topic is government policies and interventions for development in various sectors. So, why police reforms are necessary? Between April 1 and 30th November 2015, 25,357 cases were registered under police category, which included 111 deaths in police custody, 330 cases of custodial torture, and 24,916 in others. This data again lays emphasis on the need to make police accountable and carry out police reforms. Police reforms meaning police reforms aim to transform the value, culture, policies, and practices of police organizations. It envisages police to perform their duties with respect for democratic values, human rights, and the rule of law. It also aims to improve how the police interact with other parts of the security sector, such as the courts and departments of corrections or executive, parliamentary, or independent authorities with management or oversight responsibilities. Police comes under the state list of Schedule 7 of the Indian Constitution. So, the issues concerning police reforms, colonial legacy. The Police Act of 1861 was legislated by the British right after the revolt of 1857 to bring in efficient administration of police in the country and to prevent any future revolts. This meant that the police were to always comply with those in power. Accountability to the political executives versus operational freedom. The Second Administrative Reforms Commission has noted that political control has been abused in the past by the political executive to unduly influence police personnel and have them serve personal or political interests. Psychological pressure. While improvements in pay scale and promotions are necessary aspects of police reforms, little has been spoken about reforms needed at the psychological level. In the Indian police force, the lower ranks of police personnel are often verbally abused by their superiors or they work in inhumane conditions. This non harmonious work environment ultimately affects their relationship with the public. Public perception. The second ARC has noted that police public relations is in an unsatisfactory state because people view the police as corrupt, inefficient, politically partisan, and unresponsive. Further, citizens in general fear going to a police station or dealing with the lower ranks of the police force. Overburdened force. While the sanctioned police strength was 181 police per lakh persons in 2016, the actual strength was 137 police. This is way too low when compared with the United Nations recommended standard of 2 to 2 police per lakh persons. Further, a high percentage of vacancies within the police forces exacerbates an existing problem of overburdened police personnel. Constabulary related issues. The constabulary constitutes 86% of the state police forces and has wide ranging responsibilities. Infrastructural issues are also there. The CAC audit report of 2015-16 has found shortages in weaponry with state police forces. For example, Rajasthan and West Bengal had shortages of 75% and 71% respectively in required weaponry with the state police. Suggestions. Modernization of police force. MPF scheme envisages procurement of modern weapons, mobility of police force, logistics support, upgradation of police wireless, etc., a national satellite network, need for political will. The Supreme Court, in the landmark Prakash Singh case, gave 7 directives where considerable work in police reforms is still needed, revamping the criminal justice system based on the recommendations of the Menon and Malimath committees. It can be implemented. So some of the key recommendations are as follows: creation of a fund to compensate victims who turn hostile from the pressure of culprits, setting up separate authority at the national level to deal with crimes threatening the country's security, a complete revamp of the entire criminal procedure system. Source of this news is The Hindu. Next is Supreme Court to hear pleas filed against FIRs registered under the UAPA Act. The UAPA Act 1967. So it is from GS paper 2 and topic is internal security related issues. So why it is in the news? Supreme Court has agreed to hear pleas filed against FIRs registered against 102 persons in Tripura under the UAPA Act 1967, alleging them of inciting communal violence through their social media posts. About the UAPA Amendment Act. The Act gives central government full powers which, if the agency deems an activity illegal, may through the official gazette declare it so. It has the death penalty and life imprisonment as the highest penalties. Key points: under UAPA, both Indian citizens and foreigners can be charged. It will apply to people in other countries even if crimes are committed in another country outside of India. Under the UAPA, the investigating agency may file a case sheet within 180 days of the arrest, and the period may be extended further after reporting to the court. According to the 2019 amendments, the law gives the Director General of the National Investigation Agency (NIA) the power to authorize the seizure or attachment of property if a case is being investigated by the agency. The law empowers NIA officials, inspector level or higher, to investigate terrorism cases other than those perpetrated by the DSP or ACP or a senior government official. It also included the provision of nominations for terrorism. Delhi High Court defines UAPA contours. In June 2021, issuing a ruling defining the provisions of Section 15 of the ambiguity of UAPA, the Delhi High Court set out some important provisions in setting out Section 15, 17 and 18 of the Act. So Section 15, 17 and 18 of the UAPA, Section 15 charges a terrorist act, Section 17 puts down the penalty for raising money by committing terrorism, Section 18 charges conspiracy and so on, committing an act of terrorism or any act of preparation to commit an act of terrorism. Prelims hot link topics are definition of illegal activity, power of the institution under the law, does judicial review work in such cases, changes introduced by the amendments in 2004 and 2019, can foreigners be persecuted under the law? Source of this news is Indian Express. Next is, should petroleum be brought under GST regime? It is from GS paper 3 and topic is economy related issues. So why it is in the news? The central government has recently reduced the excise duty on petrol by rupees 5 per litre and on diesel by rupees 10 per litre. Taking cue from the same, many state governments have also reduced the VAT they charge on petrol and diesel by around rupees 5 to rupees 12 per litre. How much do we pay for petrol and diesel? Union and state government taxes include about 55% and 52% of the retail price of petrol and diesel respectively. These account for approximately 135% and 116% of the base prices of the two products respectively. The central levy of petrol and diesel accounts for about 36% of the retail price and the state share is estimated at 20% for diesel to 28% for petrol. Including fossil fuel fuels or petroleum in the GST. GST Council Amendment Bill 122 of 2014 adopted a delayed choice option. Under this, petroleum products will be included in the GST from the date on which the Council may recommend. Accordingly, Section 9(2) and 5(2) of the CGST or SGST Act and the IGST Act respectively clearly provided for GST tax on these products from the date on which the Council may recommend. Therefore, keeping the petroleum products under the GST is not easy to accomplish by central government alone. How much will be the revenue loss if petroleum is included under GST? The 28% GST tax on basic value will cost rupees 5.4 a litre on petrol and rupees 5.45 per litre on diesel. Current taxes are at least rupees 32.90 per litre on petrol and rupees 31.8 per litre on diesel. However, bringing petroleum under GST will reduce petrol and diesel prices by around 55 per litre. This will result in an estimated loss of rupees 3 lakh crore due to petrol and rupees 1.1 lakh crore due to diesel. Conclusion: clearly, importing petroleum products under the GST will not reduce oil prices alone unless the union and state governments are willing to significantly reduce their revenues. So, source of this news is The Hindu. Next is the AY 4.2 variant of COVID-19. So it is from GS paper 2 and topic is health related issues. So why it is in the news? AY 4.2 is a subgroup of the new Delta variant of COVID-19. The Delta variant, also known as the B.1.617.2, first appeared in India in October 2020. AY 4.2, called Delta Plus and now called VUI 21OCT01 by the UK Health Security Agency UKHSA, sublist contains two mutations in its spike protein A222V and Y145H. Spread: currently the United Kingdom makes 96% of the AY 4.2 cases, followed by Denmark and Germany with 1% each. It also has been reported in the US, Israel and Russia. In India, cases were found in Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra. How dangerous is AY 4.2? Although the evidence in AY 4.2 is still emerging, as of now it does not appear to cause the most serious diseases. According to COVID-19 jabs, the small genealogy does not provide the vaccines currently used against it. How do viruses develop and why? Viral strains have one or more differentiating mutations that are different. In fact, the virus's goal is to reach a point where it can live with humans because it needs the host to survive. Defects in viral RNA are called mutations, and viruses with this mutation are called mutations. Differences can vary with one or more conversions. So the prelims hotline topics are: what is COVID-19, what is genetic mutation, what is mRNA, what is an RT-PCR test, what is a genetic sequence, what is different about it. The source of this news is The Hindu. Next is the jurisdiction of the Border Security Force has been expanded. So it is a prelim specific topic. So the Ministry of Home Affairs had recently expanded the BSF capacity to 50 kilometers within the Punjab, West Bengal and Assam across international borders. At the same time, the department has reduced the operating area of the BSF in Gujarat from 80 kilometers from the border to 50 kilometers. The government said it was using force under the BSF Act of 1968. BSF capabilities include arrests, searches and kidnappings are limited to 15 kilometers in these provinces. The Punjab House has now passed a resolution against the expansion of BSF's jurisdiction. So background of this news is, in its 2014 proclamation, the MHA described the BSF mandate as areas encompassing the entire states of Manipur, Mizoram, Tripura, Nagaland, and Meghalaya, as well as a vast area less than 80 kilometers from the state of Gujarat, 50 kilometers in Rajasthan, and 15 kilometers in the states of Punjab, West Bengal, and Assam along the Indian border. BSF powers. It has jurisdictions over Criminal Procedure Code (CRPC), Passport, India Entry Act 1920, Passport Act 1967, NDPS Act, Arms Act, Customs Act, and other laws. So source of this news is The Hindu. So thanks a lot for watching the analysis video. Have a nice day.